Welcome back, Pirate Crew. It's your captain, Yeehaw Yadam, and we're back with another gameplay commentary video. Now, I know this is OPO1. We're all very excited for OPO2. I'll make these last couple OPO1 videos a little interesting, and that's why I'm going to be featuring Treasure Cup champion and overall card gamer, Andrew Dovale. He's going to be playing Luffy on the right versus an opponent from our local scene, playing Doflamingo on the left. Now, I think this is a really cool matchup. Luffy into blue kind of should show why blue is a very strong deck, as it creates board while applying pressure. But just, I want to use this video as an example, showing you what the thought process would be when you put an aggressive deck into the hands of a Treasure Cup champion player. So without further ado, let's get right to it. I honestly don't even fast forward this video. We'll see how it goes. So Dovale starting off with it going first, dropping the chopper, and then passing it to his Doflamingo opponent, who sees a Perona going first. So no bricking. This is optimal start from the Flamingo player, and you can argue this is a pretty highly optimal start from Dovale as well. Now you can either say like Nami on one might be better, but Chopper on one is equally as good, as if you can then deploy a Nico Robin or a Zoro, play aggressive with it, and at the same time then defend it on the crackback with the Chopper without losing hand advantage. So he is discussing to his opponent, I guess his opponent's first time with the Perona, so letting him know that you can't just choose which, to put some on the top and some on the bottom. It has to be all or none. He chooses to go on the top and, position the one that he was going to bottom all the way at the bottom. Now it goes back to Luffy's turn, who's going to go ahead and play an Usopp, and then use Luffy's leader ability to attach a Dawn, as well as manually attach another Dawn to go 7 at 5. The 7 at 5 will connect, playing like the Doflamingo player, deploying a body while also attacking for 7. So really solid turn 2 play here from Dovale. We're going to go back and see what he responds. He'll go ahead and declare attack with the Doflamingo. He's going to try to summon the Jinbei, but guess what? Jinbei is not a 7 Great Warlords of the Sea. One of the reasons why he doesn't see as much play in this in the Doflamingo deck in general, the 7K will connect because Red will just choose to allow the additional draw, as he can then fill his hand for better cards. Goes back to Duvale's turn, goes up to 5 Dawn, and he knows his opponent will be drawing a Jinbei next turn. Now Jinbei should probably be deployed, but playing it for 4 feels terrible. So as long as he doesn't play into it heavily, he should be absolutely fine. So he goes 5 at lead. Again, always using the magic numbers of 5 or 7. Goes and drops a Perona. He's going to go ahead and leader ability. He's going to go for 6, which is an easy 2K counter, and then leave up 2 Dawn for a potential Red Hawk on his opponent. His opponent went ahead and discarded 2 cards that turn, as opposed to using the law, and that 2 up is going to punish that immensely. So we might see potentially a Jinbei here, but then that also removes the strategy from the Flamingo player. If Flamingo stacked for another swing this turn, and he's not going to be able to do both at the same time, so he needs to value what he needs to do right now. Does he want to get rid of the Zoro, or does he want to go ahead and deploy a character from the top of his deck? Tough decisions, because if you commit, you go 7 at 5, which is beautiful, right? You really want to go Doflamingo 7 at 5 on that Zoro, use leader ability, and then go on from there. The problem is that's going to eat the Chopper, and you still have a lot of threat coming up, or you don't even actually eat the Chopper with a 2 Dawn up. You just get Red Hawked, and you just get bodied. So it's looking already bleak for the Doflamingo player. Perona gives and she takes, huh? I guess you just get nervous playing against this guy, bro. He just makes everyone nervous. Is that his superpower, his quirk, his devil fruit ability? We'll see. So Flamingo at 6 Dawn can't really use any of your big boys to remove from the board. You can use the Jinbei, but then you have 2 Dawn up. You can't really afford to attack, but if you don't attack, then it's a tough position to be in. So he attaches 3 to the Perona, goes 5 at 5. Ooh, a piece of candy. We get a little tournament pack. I'm gonna go ahead and take this block here, which is a little bizarre. Which is gonna let him go for the 7 here. He's gonna trigger effect. Gonna go ahead and summon Doflamingo blocker in arrested mode. He's going to go ahead and be able to look at the top 5 of the deck and decide if he wants to go to top or bottom here. So he's going to let him, resolve his effect before he Red Hawks him, which is exactly what you're supposed to do. Finish resolving all the effects on one player's side, and then going to the responses from the other players. So he decides to go ahead and top these cards, and then he's going to activate the Red Hawk that we've been talking about. It's going to go ahead and remove the law from the game. Now with no Dawn up, this Usopp's still not getting crazy value, but he's there. He is there. God willing, he is there. And we're going to go ahead and go back to the red player's turn. Who's going to go ahead and attach one and go 6F4? That's just, it's just good math. This Perona, you do not care about it. Unless you do care about it. I could have just let it live, man. Really wasn't doing much. He's going to go ahead and play the chopper. Use leader ability. He's going to go 8. 5 is a weird number. But it connects. I think 7 would have equally connected, but it's perfectly fine. He just wanted, I guess, use up all the Dawn that he had available, leaving 2 up. And that's what's kind of cool about Luffy as opposed to Zoro. You can just use your Dawn a little bit more aggressively. And you can see here that he's not fully committing all his Dawn every turn. He's able to still pressure the board while also just keeping Dawn available, which is exactly what you want to use these very powerful event cards. And he's still at 4 life, looking like a 4-hander at this point in time. Very solid. Gonna go ahead and finally be able to pay for the Jinbei, and then gonna choose to bottom deck the chopper. And that, oh man, he's gonna get blown out of this game. He's gonna go 7, trigger the effect. Unless this is a teach, it's not a teach. It's the Jinbei. This is gonna hawk the other Jinbei, and he's gonna keep 1 up. The amount of disrespect I'm seeing. And then he's going to Perona the cards that we just flamingoed. Understood. This is just an understood. We're going to pass it back to Dovale, who's going to go all the way up to 9 Dawn this turn. 9 Dawn is a beautiful turn to Shanks. Now, he could have, like, you could argue he could have Ben Beckman the last turn, but you never want to deploy Ben Beckman versus Blue. Just want to talk about the fact that you should not do that, because that is a 7 cost into a deck that loves tempoing away your 7 drops, right? So that's one of the ways that you don't want to play this game. But basically, Dolphy just wants to keep that same game plan of aggression while keeping board control to remove hand advantage. So you see he has the Ben Beckman in hand, but I don't foresee him playing that card this game. I think he just keeps it for combo power, unless he has nothing else better to do. He has a Radical Beam, a Beckman, a Pistol. Oh boy, his hand is looking clunked. And a Red Hawk. Yeah, I think the only character that he can play to apply pressure is the Beckman. You don't love seeing that. And just how I just said, you'd never play this card in this matchup. He just does it. It manages to do those things, I guess. So he'll go 8 at face. Now the 8 at face is, again, you don't want to leave any Dawn up this turn because you don't want him to try to like play around some weird numbers. You're not going to be comboing out of anything this turn, right? You want to take that damage. You want to get the draw because your hand is not looking great. You have Radical Beam, a Pistol, and a Red Hawk. Those are the 3 cards in your hand. That's all that's left. If you see a Mihawk from your opponent here, you're not in a good position, but usually Blue would mulligan away the Mihawks, the Flamingos. You want to see more of the early game. And if they're bottoming those cards, then we're in a really solid spot. But if he has a singular Mihawk here or a Flamingo, we're going to see a lot of tempo shift into the blue player's side. But he is still at 2 versus 4 life, which is very scary. And I guess like half of the blue player's board cannot attack. Like that prone is never coming. Already seeing the 2, we're going 3 here. So this is not looking bad for Dovale at this point in time, because the only thing that can answer right now is specifically structure deck Doflamingo. We need that card right now as a Doflamingo player. If we do not play, we are just going to immediately lose the game. We just got to hit him for all the perfect numbers. I foresee some pretty crazy attacks. I mean, he's just going to take this one too. There's no reason not to take this. A 6 is a little weird, but regardless, it's going to be taken because the next turn he's going to leave an insane amount of Dawn up and just become unkillable. He wants to get down to the Radical Beam threshold, which he has now acquired. And here we go. He leaves one up for a Desert Spada, but this is just going to get pistoled away. There's just no shot. The boas are some of the strongest cards in blue, right? They're the cards that gain you the most advantage. So we're just going to remove all potential advantage on the blue player's side of the board here using Pistol on the active boa. Maybe we KO the rested boa, and then we go from here to just use our powers for good. So we play for the Dawn. We still have 6 active Dawn. We'll go ahead and attach a Dawn here to the Usopp just to see if we can potentially get some card draw to happen. And we'll go 9 at 5, which would require an insane amount of combo power from the blue player's side. And with that, now we can just freely 7 your opponent, keep 1 Dawn up, and then we're in a really solid spot. We can 7-7. But he chooses to go 5-7, keep 3 up, which is also fine. That's Radical Beam Red Hawk, which is exactly where we want to be. Nothing wrong with that. He'll go and combo away the 5k with a Teach, and then I see a 7k coming from leader, or 5 from the Usopp. I like it. Still have 5 Dawn available. That Dawn was sneaky over there in the corner. Completely forgot about it. Lose another Boa. 5 a leader again. We're going to keep 5 up, or we're going to go Zoro keep up 2. I like Zoro keep up 2 as well. We're just chucking 4 5s at this turn. Not a bad. Remove the hand, and then the following go for the lethal. Not a bad turn whatsoever. And we're just going to have to completely ignore this Jinbei, by the way. This Jinbei is just staying it, dog. We'll go ahead and attach 1, which I'm not a huge fan of. Sure. Still hasn't decided if he wants the 6, right? So this is weird. So he'll go 2k. He's aware of the desert spot in his opponent's hand, but his opponent's hand should be like now 3 cards. His entire board is now rested, which is kind of nice for his opponent. He has 1 Dawn up, threatening the Radical Beam. And I think the Radical Beam is good enough because he has a Otama in hand as well as, you know, mystery cards. Let's see how he wants to do this. He's going to go 7 at the Zoro. Going to summon the Kuma. Now, he could let the Zoro go. He has a Sanji, so he can go up to 9k twice this turn. He's going to read the Radical Beam here. That pushes him all the way to 9k. That's 7 is just not good enough. It's a good efficiency to go the Radical Beam here as opposed to going Otama Sanji. So I like that as well. We're going to probably see another 7 and another Zoro. The problem is it's not going to save us. It's not going to save us from the following turn. Duvall obviously just needs to protect his board, and then he has 5 potential swings that he can just use his Dawn freely. He still has like a Radical Beam in hand. Or it's not a Radical Beam, a Red Hawk. So he's going to go ahead and 2k out of that. And that's why you kind of leave the Peronas on the board. I love leaving them on the board because then they have to attach 3, which is 33% of their turn. And if they're attaching 33% of thetheir turn, they're losing the game. To do nothing, basically. So you can't afford to 5 this, but you also can't afford to 7 this, it seems. Oh boy, that just... Okay. I don't even have to like truly commit. Has 1 card left. He doesn't even have the Red Hawk, so I thought he had one. I guess I mislooked at his hand. And he's going to go ahead and Gecko the Law back. It's a pretty cute play. But at 2 life, no Dawn up. This is terrifying. And it goes back to Duvall's turn. He's going to go ahead and he top decks the pistol. That's what makes you a Treasure Cup champion right there. Honestly, he didn't need the pistol to win this game, but I just like to meme. We'll go 6th, threatening to remove a 2k from his hand. I don't think there's many 2ks left in the Flamingo's hand, if I'm being honest. He's in a really desperate spot, so the 6 connects. 7. Now he just needs to go, yeah. Not even wasting any time, just goes 4 on the, yeah, and that's going to wrap it up. 4 on the Beckman, make it a 13k swing, which is, I don't think there's any way to go out of that, but just so you guys can see how the Treasure Cup champion would play a Red Luffy deck. He didn't draw crazy, you know, he went from Chopper into Usopp into Zoro, right? Which is a pretty reasonable curve. He didn't curve out crazily like usually like how Red Luffy normally does, where he goes like Chopper, Robin, 5. He didn't see 1 structure deck Luffy. He didn't see anything of that nature, and he was still able to easily win the game versus Blue. He just, unfortunately, the Blue player walked into the Red Hawk twice, as well as the Radical Beam and things like that. He honestly just fell into each trap that Luffy had set out for him, and that caused him to go to failure. There was 1 turn, though, where had the Blue player just seen a Mihawk, he would have probably been able to stabilize the game, but even out of that hefty life deficiency, it would have been very difficult to turn that into a potential win, but that is what it is. I hope you guys enjoyed this content. This is just another gameplay content. This is the final week of OPO1 content, I think. Next week, we'll start seeing some OPO1, OPO2, and we'll move along with how the game progresses in that stage. So if you guys like this video, please leave a like down below. Smash that like button. If not, if you have anything to say about this sort of gameplay, leave a comment down below. If you have any questions, comments, concerns about the gameplay that you want to address to me, or if you want me to ask Duvall, go ahead and ask me those questions, and I'll see how we can address them. And as always, guys, if you have not joined the Pirate Community, you're enjoying the content, please consider subscribing, and we'll see y'all on the next one. Peace.